had too much light going on. I had to cut some lights out. I know it's late, and just been toiling with this particular subject pretty much all day since the video was sent to me. So much going on internally, I'm sure, just like with the rest of the world. Like, it has happened again. So, of course, I'm on tonight, as late as it is, to talk about the latest victim, Mr. George Floyd, out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. A lot of us know by now that he was viciously killed. He was murdered in the streets of Minneapolis last night. And I'm just gonna call it what it is what it is. He was viciously murdered. Well, not viciously, actually subtly murdered. Black man by a white officer by way of strangulation. This officer was called to the scene for a forgery in progress. Forgery, I'm sure we probably all know, but is either counterfeit money or a fake check or a forged check that you're trying to put off with a merchant to buy something with. So either false money or trying to present a fake check or cash a fake check. I don't know what the particulars of the forgery was, but they were called for a forgery in progress. So they get there, he's in the car, tell him to get out the car. He gets out the car. Once he gets out the car, the officer states in their report that he tried to resist arrest. Usually if a guy is going to resist arrest, they not too quick to just get out the car on the first request. Whatever the particulars of his arrest or his encounter was with the police, these police cannot continue to be judge, jury, and executioner. One of the key points I want to make in this video is being in law enforcement is getting disheartening. It's hard to continue to wear my uniform with integrity, with pride, without guilt, without shame. I'm shamed. I'm so thankful that I have a job, that I am a first responder, and I'm able to continue to provide for myself during this pandemic. But it has really become shameful, guys, to wear this uniform every day. And I am on the fence about it. I'm not gonna beat my department down. I'm not gonna even say what department I work for. And it's just across the board with police in America. And the stats show that most of it is white police against Black men. Does it happen with other races of police and other cultures? Yes, it does. But they're few and far between. They should not happen either. They should not be unjustly murdered or targeted for whatever reason. But the gist of this is happening almost every day, every week. Attorney Benjamin Crump and Attorney Lee Marin, I think that's Lee's name, they really need to expand their law firm because they can't even finish a discovery for one case before they're hit with another case like this. This is too much. I'm trying to see where to start. I took so many notes. Again, that's the gist of my video. How does someone, whether they're a sworn officer or a non-sworn officer, continue to wear a uniform and a badge and do their job? For me, and I work with really great officers, guys. I just want to say that there are way more officers who take their badge and take their oath very serious to heart. I talk with these people every day. I deal with them. I work with them in one fashion or other. Even the little work that I do the work that I do with them that's on the field. Like, I'm a non-sworn peace officer for my department. I'm not sworn. I'm not a police officer, but I work very closely with them. And when I run traffic, I really work shoulder to shoulder with them on the streets of the jurisdiction that we police in. And I just want to say, I want to applaud those men and women who really love what they do, who really put their life on the line to make sure we are safe, we are protected. It's an old saying, my grandma used to say, one bad apple spoils the bunch. We're going to have to start picking them damn apples out of the bunch. Those apples cannot stay in the bunch. I'm not even going to talk about the officers that I know that has this mentality, because it's not about me talking about them right now. I just really want to drive the point home that is way more loving, caring people that really put their life on the line and sacrifice their families to serve and protect. But again, that small group that will do something like this officer did, and his name is Derek Chauvin. I'll call him the killer. He's the murderer. And I want to say something about what he did to Mr. Floyd. When he had his knee on George Floyd's neck, did you guys see? Someone brought this to my attention. My play brother did, and I'm like, wow, I didn't get that. He said it's a tactic that officers use when they have their knee on a person. They put their hand in their pocket, the press down on their thigh to apply more pressure to that area that they're restraining. In this case, it was the neck. He had his knee on the victim's neck to make sure. He impeded his breath purposely, maliciously. Everybody knows the story. The man is saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. We saw this man die on this pavement slowly. Have you guys ever was not able to breathe? People that have asthma, COPD, when you can't breathe, oh my God, it's hard to keep still. And for him not to be able to breathe to the point he died, he did amazing. He was not fighting and resisting that officer. And then that one clown, yes, I'm gonna call him a clown, the Tao Bao, Touthau, the officer that just stood by there. Even if you're afraid and you don't want to be the goody two shoe or whatever, I think you should be, because you took that oath to serve and protect. He could have been like, hey man, okay, I don't know, he should have done something. His attention was on the people that was filming and the bystanders. He was ready to attack. He was in attack mode. He was not trying to help this guy. That's why his ass is fired too. That's why he's going to prison too. He was in attack mode to those civilian people that's just, they're witnessing this murder. And that's why he's gone. 2 more officers was fired as well. I'm so sorry, I don't know the particulars of why they was fired. Maybe they got there after the fact. And another thing is, when EMS finally came, I don't know how fast they called for medical for this guy, but the first time this guy said, I couldn't breathe, they should have been calling medical. I do this. They should have been calling medical. I'm not sure. They could have. I don't know. So when medical did get there, they flipped this guy over like he was roadkill, not even like he was a human being. He was limp. I really feel he was no longer with us at that time. And if he was still breathing, it was very minimal. I don't know, when a medical was called, did they tell the dispatcher that our complainant is saying he's having difficulty breathing? Because I didn't see them trying to give him oxygen or do nothing for him. They flipped him up on that gurney and started rolling him out. I'll relook at the video, but from what I saw that was in camera view, I didn't see them trying to sustain his breath, trying to make sure he was getting adequate oxygen to his brain. So it's a mentality there sometimes all the way around, unfortunately. Some key points I want to make. This officer that murdered this gentleman last night, Derek Chauvin, on his Facebook page, he has a hat on that says "Make America Great." Guess who else wears that hat, you guys? Donald Trump. He had on the same hat that Donald Trump wears. Does that directly affect what happened last night? No. Does it indirectly affect it? Does it have any kind of impact on what happened last night? I believe it does, because this president have incited this type of mindset, have helped wake it up. Is no longer hidden in the backwoods of Tennessee and Kentucky in these little quiet meetings and things like that. It's so out in the open now. It's so, look at the lady just lied on the guy, I believe it was yesterday, in the park, in Central Park. She just clearly lied on this black guy. It's so blatant now, and they're so brazen and so unfazed with consequences, because some of them have a privileged attitude. They don't worry about consequences. How could you work for a police department? You are sworn in to serve and protect. You are in the middle of the street, killing a guy in front of countless witnesses with video cameras, and you still commit the murder? You have no fear of consequence, because it's been such a history of lack of consequences and accountability for this type of thing, that you give less than a damn who sees you, and you think it's okay. And for you to have your hand on your thigh, pressing down, seemingly pressing down to make sure you apply as much pressure to this guy's neck as possible, is pure evil. As if your body weight alone was not enough. You wanted to add some more by pressing down on his neck to ensure that you killed him. I'm sorry, let me just make some more points here. I talked about the hat, "Make America Great Again." The dirty technique of pressing down harder on this guy's neck, applying more pressure than your body weight. I want to applaud the mayor of Minneapolis, Jeffrey Frey, or Jeffrey Frey. This man, white man, came out and publicly showed his disdain, verbalized his disdain for what his officer did, and for anybody that had any type of connection and accountability for this guy's murder. I applaud him. He's a Democratic mayor. I don't know if that had something to do with it. Probably did, because his thinking, his mindset. And the Attorney General for that jurisdiction or that state or that area, he's a Democrat as well. The chief of police there, they acted right now. Today, you don't pass go, you're out of here. You're out of here. The next step is some arrests. We need to arrest. They committed a crime. They committed a crime so bad they got fired right there, less than 24 hours. So now what? Make the arrest. Let's go. You got to go. You're out of here. But I applaud them, because we know they'll investigate. They'll see the video, and it won't be arrest made. Won't nothing happen. To most of the time, we make an outrage, and it goes global and viral. A video. Yeah, the video definitely helped. The video helped. Going to the video, can you guys just mentally just think, just over the past 20 years, 25, 30 years, before cell phone cameras and cell phone video cameras became a thing like air, like everyone has it. We have to have a cell phone, and they're all video capabilities now. At least 99.9% of them. Some people still have flip phones, but even children have videos. Can you guys imagine how many murders, how much unjust this went on prior to us being able to see it happening? How many people got away with murdering us, our Black men, our Black women, and other people too? Other races, other cultures have had injustices as well. But this discussion is about our Black people. It happens way more to us. And there was no accountability because the officer would make the report, and that report was gospel. The officer was there. This is before the age of body cam, definitely before the age of citizens with video cameras or cell phone cameras. So many of our people perished in this same way. This did not just start happening when we got videos. These things has been happening. We just didn't have the proof of the pudding. We didn't have it. I thank God. Some people say, oh, this Facebook and this Instagram and this video. Yeah, some people use it for crazy stuff, fun stuff, ratchet stuff. But I'm glad we have this right now. I'm glad we have this, because this would be, George Floyd would be another Black man, dead and gone, because he did something wrong and the police had to kill him and take him out. He tried to kill the police. He tried to assault the police. Whatever they was putting in those reports. I said before in another video, sometimes you'll hear officers saying, stop going for my gun, stop resisting, stop doing it. They have to say that to justify their actions and what they already know that they're getting ready to do that's unjust. Does that happen for real in real life? Absolutely. Absolutely, we have suspects and assailants that really go for officers. Yes, we do. And do I want my officers to be safe and protected? Absolutely. I want each and every one of them to go home to their families every night. But damn, I want my brothers and sisters to do the same. I want them to go home to their families. And if they commit a crime, yeah, you have to answer for that crime, brother and sister. You have to go too. You have to go. But we have something supposedly called due process in the Constitution of the United States. We can't be on these streets as officers in uniform, judge, jury, and executioners. We can't do that. There's a process. We just can't kill people. And then what they're killing these people for is not even a capital crime punishable by death for the states that do have death penalties. There's many states that don't even have a death penalty. So you're just killing people before they had their time in court. Or let me finish some of my other points. I talked about the mayor. I applaud you, Mayor Jeffrey Frey. Thank you for not being scared. Thank you for calling it what it is, sir. You didn't try to smooth it over. You said, Black man, white cop, this is what happened, and what you saw upset you, and you can physically see this man upset. I'm gonna try to link his interview on this video when I close it down. Okay. Yeah, they took immediate actions and they fired these officers. I want to make some more points here. They're also like publicly asking for witnesses to this crime, witnesses. And yes, it's a damn crime. He murdered that man. I don't care if he was wearing a uniform. He committed a crime. He committed murder. If we get a call that, we get a lot of calls. We get a call that a young lady has been assaulted by her boyfriend, her baby's daddy, her husband, and he's choking her. It's called impeding breath. We call that assault, family violence, ag assault, family violence, impeding breath. That's a felony 1. And she a lot of times she don't even lose consciousness. We ask her, well, how long did he impede your breath? How long did he choke you out? 30 seconds, 10 seconds, did you lose consciousness? And most of the time it's no. Sometimes they do lose consciousness, but that's a felony 1. That's like prison time, potentially. So you telling me you impeded somebody's breath to the point where you killed them? Yeah, you committed murder. But they're asking, the mayor and the chief of police left the phone number 651-793-7000 for anyone who may have witnessed what happened from another angle, just any more video footage that they may have that will help them in this investigation. And I know in the past, some people have been reluctant out of fear to come forward with things. But with these guys moving the way they did, I think it would probably be okay for you guys to submit any information you have that will help make sure these guys get prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And if you don't want your name to be out there, I'm sure you can do something anonymously. Again, if that's going to help in the investigation of getting these guys prosecuted for the murder of this gentleman. I want to go to a point that I was trying to make about having pride in working for a police department in this day and age, when we can see, we no longer have to suspect that officer's story doesn't sound right, or we are being told by witnesses or people that it really didn't happen that way. Now we have it on video and we can see it. And again, how do we wear this uniform? Those of us who are good and who are working for the good of the people who we were employed to protect and serve, and no matter what our role is in that department, how do we continue to do this job with integrity, with dignity, and with pride? You know, right now it's fearful to be in that uniform. Not like a physical fear, but just an emotional fear of what are these people thinking about me right now? You know, I'm waving and speaking, it has to leave a bad taste in most people's mouth. And I just want to again say, you guys, most of our officers, they love what they do and they love you. They really do. I'm with them. There are some ones that I side eye, but for the most part, these men and women really, really are here for you. Again, I just really want to put that in your head. So we teach our sons and daughters how not to die unjustly at the hands of police. We teach them that. We teach our sons and daughters to, if you get pulled over by police, keep your hands on the steering wheel where they can see them. Don't make any sudden movement. Be polite. Make sure you can be seen clearly. Let the officer know, I'm gonna grab my license like you asked me. We try to be very, very specific in what we put in their heads, so we won't be that mother on the news. We won't be that father in Crump or Marin's office looking for help, looking for justice. So we teach them this. But guess what? They're still killed in their vehicles while they're complying with officers with their child in the back seat in a car seat. Scratch that lesson off, moms and dads and aunts and uncles and grandparents, godparents, friends, families. We taught that, but they still was murked. So then we say, Okay, well, just go out in the daytime for a nice, peaceful jog by yourself, not with a group of guys that can be misunderstood for something that you guys are not. Dress in clothing that you're not looking suspicious. You're very transparent. Jog in your neighborhood, get some fresh air. You like to jog, you like to be healthy. You have dreams, you have goals, you have aspirations. You have not always been perfect. You have not always been perfect, but do that. You'll be good. It's no way that this type of harm, especially death, can come to you in this situation. Just go ahead and do your job. Guess what? Murder. Murdered, jogging in his own neighborhood, broad daylight, Sunday afternoon, not bothering a soul. Yeah, stopped to admire a house being built. Maybe this young man had aspirations of building a house. Maybe he was thinking about going into architect, to be a builder, to be a design. He was just taking it in and probably taking a breath from jogging and running. 2, 3 minutes in there, okay, I'm off. I'm going to continue my jog. I'm going to continue my run. Murdered. So then we say, okay, go to school, young man, young woman, get you an education, get you a career. After you've completed a hard day of work, a productive day of work, just don't jog, don't go out, don't drive. Just go straight home from work if you don't have any business to take care of. Go home from work, get in your shorts, your jammies, your t-shirt, get you a nice bowl of ice cream. You deserve it. You've done everything you were supposed to do in life to be a productive member of society. You deserve a bowl of ice cream after a day of work. Sit down, turn your TV on, chill out in your apartment that you paid for. No harm is going to come to you. How can it? You're in your own home. You've done everything mom and dad has taught you to do, to be a man, to be a highly respected member of society. Murdered in your own home doing all of that. So we can teach our children these things. We can teach our kids these things, but guess what? If the people that's murdering us is not meeting us halfway, if they're not being reprogrammed, if they're not being taught, if they're not being showed how to suppress or just to negate their hateful racism, don't get me wrong, we're all racist in some way. We all have some biases in some ways. I think racist is more of the hateful part of the biases. It's okay to be proud of who you are, of your race, your culture, your upbringing, as long as that pride does not make you feel privileged enough where you want to kill somebody else because you think they are this and you think they're that and you think they should not be where you are, or they shouldn't be on the same level you are. They shouldn't live in your neighborhood. They shouldn't shop where you shop. They shouldn't drive the type of car you drive. As long as that pride does not make you feel privileged to hurt someone else because they are not like you. So again, going back to, we teach our sons and daughters all of these things to stay not safe, not dry, not sheltered, but to stay alive. We're teaching them these things to stay alive, but they're still being murdered. Again, the only thing I can come up with is we're not the problem. Don't get me wrong. Keep educating your children and your loved ones. We still need to do our part. But those people, they need to do their part. They don't fear consequences. They don't fear none. They definitely don't fear their chiefs of police. They don't fear their sergeants, their lieutenants, their commanders. because this man didn't give a damn who was looking at him. He still killed that gentleman in front of everyone. So the buck don't just stop with us. It has to continue with the other side. It has to continue with the murderers and the killers. And police department heads, if you guys don't know what to do, yeah, I know a lot of police departments, especially right now in this pandemic, they're short staffed. But we just can't let the devil in to police citizens just because we're short staffed. If you don't know what to do with these people that has this mentality that will do this, continuously keep doing this, you got to get rid of them. You got to get that bad apple out the bunch. They got to go, or you're going to lose the good people. You're going to lose the people that you really need to be there to continue to build relationship between citizens and police. I really believe most of the time it's known who has these racist ways, these biases, who potentially may do this, and they have to go. They have to go. And the ones who you feel that can be saved and can be taught, because some of them are victims, like we want to say, some blacks and browns and other cultures, and even whites are victims or can be victims of their upbringing, of what they're exposed to. So some of these officers are victims of their upbringing and what they were taught and what they were exposed to. And if there's any kind of help that we could give them that'll turn that mindset around and that thinking around before they kill another one of us, absolutely save those officers. But the ones that you know, and especially the ones that do something like this, you got to go. Mayor and Chief of Police, Minneapolis, again, I applaud you guys. That was a brave move. Thank you. I believe it's unprecedented. You have set a new precedent. Thank you. We appreciate that. So again, all of this writing papers and okay, we're going to meet about the meeting to see what can be done. We don't have to meet about the damn meeting. Do something. Do I know the answer? No. I'm not a chief of police. I'm not assistant chief. I'm not a lieutenant. But some stuff have to be done, and have to be done really, really. Frankly, it has to be done right now. It has to be done very clear, because these people have no fear of consequence, because they have gotten away with this for so long. They're brazen, they have privileged mentalities, and they feel right. Most departments train their officers before they even get to the field training for at least 9 months. So we want to say, well, they're people too. They are people too, and I pray for each and every one of them every night, again, that they make it home safely. But they took that oath. They committed themselves to this type of life work, and they run to the bullets. We run away from it. So they can't be on the same thinking mechanism as a civilian person, a regular citizen. They are trained to critically think more. They're definitely trained to kill, as we see that. They're trained to protect themselves, and they need to, because there are some bad people out here that will challenge our officers and will try to hurt them. And do I want those officers to protect themselves? Absolutely. Absolutely, from those type of hurt and harms. But they can't be the ones out here hurting and harming and killing. Oh, another point I really want to let you guys know is, like, myself and one other person on here right now. A fellow officer told me last year that the department I work for, not so far in the past, not so distant past, definitely in my lifetime and probably in my adult lifetime, I believe he was telling me that a black officer in our police force was not allowed to arrest a white citizen. When I tell you guys, I stopped, dropped, and rolled. I said, what, in the 20s, in the 40s, maybe in the 50s? No, I believe this was in the 70s, maybe 80s. 70s, early 80s, if I remember our conversation correctly. Just marinate on that. Here you are hired as a police officer, but you could not police, you could not arrest a white criminal if you are a black officer. You have to, I'm assuming, detain the person. But if they didn't want to be detained and you didn't have the right to touch them and arrest them, they could just leave before the white officer had a chance to get there for the arrest. But, anyways, black officers in this particular police department was not allowed to arrest a white suspect or white offender. That blew my mind. That blew my mind. That blew my mind. I don't know if it's blowing you guys' mind, but that ish is crazy. That's crazy. So thinking of that conversation with him, it kind of gives me the, I don't want to say the leniency with some of these white officers who has this mentality, but to be fair to them, they were allowed to be treated as if they're privileged, and now we want to tell their ass, oh, you're not privileged no more. We finna put your ass in jail. We finna fire you. But that mentality and that type of heart that they were given is still there. Because if you see this officer, and I'm sure everyone has seen this video, how he murdered that guy last night and put his knee in that guy's chest, not his chest, I'm sorry, in his neck until he lost his life. Hi, Kelly. Thank you for joining me. Thank you so much. Um, he wasn't trying to hide from the cameras. He wasn't, the guy was in handcuffs. He was on his stomach, face down. He was no threat. You could have got up off that guy's neck at any time. I feel no sympathy for this officer who murdered this guy last night. I feel no sympathy for Tao, the other officer that stood by and not try to offer any assistance for this black man dying on the pavement. He was more interested in attacking the guy on a sidewalk. And if you guys hear the guy on the sidewalk, he said something that's very significant to me. I would love to interview him. He said, I know what you're doing. I'm currently in the academy. I want to know, and I'm assuming when he said he's currently in the academy, that he was in the Minneapolis Police Academy. I want to know, because working in the police department that I work with, like I say, I'm having second thoughts about continuing working there. And it's not anything against my department. It's just being a part of law enforcement right now. Anyways, I would like to know if he will continue with his academy. Will he continue to stay in the academy, or will he remove himself from being a police officer? We need good people. So if he is going to be one of the good ones, prayerfully, he will continue on that course. And we need good officers. We need good, humane people to splash out the ones that still has that privileged mentality where they can just kill us at their own will in their own leisure. So I would wish I could have a conversation with him, because I want to know, am I the only one in law enforcement that's feeling like, I don't know if I want to continue to be a part of law enforcement? And again, it's not my department, my department has had some major hiccups, some worldwide major hiccups. And in some of those, I almost walked away. I haven't been here that long. I haven't been here that long at all. But I said, no, I'm going to stay because there's a lot of good that we do that I see that's done behind the scenes that don't get reported on the news. You'll never hear those stories. So I stayed, but now it's like, what does it profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul? Like I said, I'm thankful that I'm able to sustain during this pandemic, take care of myself, take care of my home, have a car to drive. But because it hurts me as a woman, as a Black woman, it just hurts. It hurts. And you feel helpless. You feel there's nothing you can do. What could you do? We march, we riot, we have these speaking engagements and these rallies. And I don't want to say that stuff is in vain, but it just seems like it's not changing. You know what? I'm not going to say it seems like it's not changing. It's not changing. Like I said, we barely can breathe. The last person is barely cold in the ground. And here it is, another one. It's like those attorneys, those civil rights attorneys that the families go to because this has become their expertise, they need help. They probably have a big law firms and lawyers working under them that we don't, hear about. But they need that help because I'm sure they haven't even gotten all the details of one case before they're hit with a whole nother case, the exact same script. It's bananas. It's crazy, guys. So I wish I had more people on here to talk with me. Hey, Kelly, if you're still on here, I just want to know, what do you think about a person in uniform, in law enforcement, is really reconsidering staying on the force in lieu of the overwhelming amount of Black men that are killed in the streets unjustly by a white police officer. And until today, really, the powers that be was not holding these officers accountable in real time. And they would a lot of times make excuses. But the mayor said something that I just clapped. He said, I don't care what the particulars of the encounter or the arrest was. This should not have been the end result. Every time this kind of stuff happens, even if it's not by an officer, even if it's by a civilian, non-Black killing a Black man, like in Ahmaud's case, they want to pull out an arrest record out their ass or an investigation on, I think he had a gun at a school function or something in high school. They want to pull that out. Okay, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Trayvon Martin, they want to pull out, he was smoking weed and he was something, I don't even remember. It was so minute and so unnecessary and had nothing to do with Zimmerman killing that baby on the street like he did. But they always want to search Botham Jean. He in his own house. He had marijuana in his house. They always want to criminalize the victim to make the officer look more just or more righteous in a kill. Like, we're going to make this a righteous kill. Because look, he smoked weed. Half of them smoke weed and probably do other things too. So what he smoked weed? So what he had weed in his apartment? He was in his damn apartment. He wasn't at Amber's door trying to sell her none, give her none. He was in his house with his weed. If that was even his weed. I don't even know if it was his weed. But if it was, so what? His sister said he smoked weed. So it's believable that that could have been his weed in his apartment. But so what? Again, they try to criminalize the victim to make that kill look righteous. And that's what I'm saying when the higher ups don't hold these officers accountable until today. Well, it's after midnight, until yesterday. The mayor and the chief of police, and I'm told that the Mayor Jeffrey Frey, is a Democratic mayor. And it probably has a lot to do with it, I'm assuming, but I'm sure there's other Democratic mayors that had this under their jurisdiction to happen that did not take this type of action immediately. Like, he ain't playing. He is not playing. I don't know you, Jeffrey Frey, but I love you for that. I do. But that, we're not even to half the battle yet, sir. But that's a great, great, great start. So again, I didn't get any input, which I was hoping for, regarding, am I being ridiculous about reconsidering my employment in law enforcement? It's strong on me now, you guys. It's strong, because this shit, it hurts. It hurts. I do want to talk to you guys about voting. I'm off and on. I have to admit, I'm one of those people that I don't know if I'm gonna vote this election. I'm not. I used to be an avid voter. Like, you couldn't keep me from the polls. I remember the first time I was able to vote. I was actually 18. Had just turned 18. I turned 18 March 3rd that year. Man, that November I voted. It was the president. I think it was Ronald Reagan's election. I voted for the other guy. But that was the first time I voted. And then just over the years, I just like, what does it matter if I vote? Well, let me say this. And I haven't researched this data. I just feel this in my core. I no longer feel like I don't vote. I do vote now, guys. But I hear a lot of us especially saying, oh, my vote don't count. It don't matter. Only thing I can come up with to tell you guys, I hear everybody saying, get out and vote, get out and vote. The only thing I hear in my head is, how can I put this? A non-vote is a yes vote for someone who will get in that office and negatively impact your life in one way or another. Try to wrap your mind around that. To not vote at all is just like you voted yes for these same people who pass these laws, who sit in Congress, sit in the House, and negatively affect your life in one way or another, whether it's financial, whether it's medical, whether it's holding people criminally responsible for murdering you. To sit at home or wherever you sit when it's voting time, when you don't go vote, you're saying yes to the other guy or the other girl. Think about that. So you can say your vote don't count. Yeah, if you don't vote, it don't count. But it slides that person right into that seat that's going to have dominion over your life. I can hear what y'all saying now, but just let that sink in. A no vote, a non-vote, not a no vote, a non-vote is a yes vote for the other people who we are sitting and complaining about now, who's been letting this travesty happen for years until we got cell phones and videos. And like I say, it's a damn shame that it take a video to prove this officer is lying through his or her teeth. Lying. How many murders has happened before the age of technology, this technology we're living in now, that has never, ever, ever gotten justice? All right, Miss Kelly, if you're the one that's still on here with me, I thank you and the 2 to 3 other people that joined for joining me. Yeah, working in law enforcement in 2020 is questionable for me right now. It's questionable for me. And again, I want to applaud my department, and the men and women I work for. Countless, way more is good people, really good people, guys. And they are to be honored and respected. But those ones, such as this, I can't even remember his name, the murderer, Derek Chauvin, the murderer, the killer. We outweigh those officers, those men and women outweigh Derek, but Derek is one of the ones who murdered one of our brothers. And that's horrible. He outweighed, that one bad apple has outweighed hundreds of good officers. So every one bad officer outweigh at least 500 good officers. So yeah, I'm gonna leave some links in this video if YouTube won't take it down like they did my other video. The one I did yesterday with the girl breaking into the other young lady's house with a key she got from her boyfriend because he's cheating with her and she beat the brakes off of her. I just said it in there. Young lady, we're living in an age where we have entities working against us. We're being murdered in the streets. This was just yesterday morning I did this, Monday morning, and Monday evening, this guy was dead. I said, they're killing us in the streets. We don't know what the hell is really going on with this COVID-19 because more of us is dying at record numbers than any other race. And this shit happened again 6 hours after that video I did yesterday. So again, if YouTube won't take this down or tag it to release it later, I don't know, because they don't like you talking about certain things. I'm gonna put some tags in here for you guys to view, especially the video of the mayor. I applaud him, the video of the mayor and of the chief of police in Minneapolis. I forget to say this a lot. Please subscribe, like my channel, click on that notification button. You won't get them a lot because I don't come on too often. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Get some rest.